Good morning and welcome to another 30 Minutes with Jan. My co-host is somewhere still making coffee for herself and lost in La La Land as normal. So yeah, this morning we're supposed to talk all about embrace the change. Embracing the change means that you must accept where you are. And eventually she joins me. Yeah.
You started
Nice.
without
You're in
me.
La La Land. You've been living in this world where nothing matters. Not
Good
neither
morning.
time. So yeah. At
Good
last, at
morning.
last, at last. It's a rude awakening. We should probably call the show the rude awakening. So,
Don't be nasty.
all right, embrace the change. Okay, put down your phone.
I am getting my notes.
It's not going to help you a lot.
Um. Okay, so you started. So where are you?
I said just good morning,
Oh,
and I told them you're busy making yourself coffee and somewhere in La La Land as
I
well.
just said goodbye to my children. That's what I
Okay,
did.
so I did it. Why don't you just close the window at the back? Yeah, then we can do this camera a bit more on you. So
Yeah.
So embracing the change. What is that all about?
Um. I think just instead of swimming upstream, try to relax and go with the flow, so that you don't have to struggle so much.
Yeah.
When you immigrate, doesn't matter to what country, you should expect that there will be changes.
And
It's
rather
not
drastic
changes.
changes.
And if you are not ready for change, then don't put yourself through it. And if you did put yourself through it, which is hard enough as it is, then just try to embrace where you are and how it is to live in the country that you are. We're specifically talking about living in New Zealand.
But this goes for any other country.
It will be for any
you
country,
go,
yeah. But the lifestyle in New Zealand, I think, is much different than most other countries. It's not so fast paced.
And the others, we have a few positives down here in New Zealand. Let's be quite frank regarding positives. We all talk English, or mostly English. So that's already a positive. You do not need to come here and learn a new language like Spanish or Portuguese or one of these things.
Yeah.
But except the language, I think it would even be worse going from north to south, or from south to the North Pole, or the northern half, because you're stepping out from a winter into another winter, or from a summer into another summer. That will even chuck you further around. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think the one change that is unavoidable, uninventable, what is the word, is the slow living in New Zealand. You have to get used to that, especially if you come from a city kind of lifestyle. Things happen very slow in New Zealand.
Everywhere.
And it can be frustrating for you, especially in the beginning. It's not frustrating for me at all, because it's like I don't know, it gives you more time to adjust and just to relax and just to enjoy whatever is around you. And you're not just in this rat race from point A to point B all the time.
One thing I struggled with, and I'm going to be open and honest with this, I did struggle with the speed. The speed of a lot of things. The one thing that I did struggle was with the speed on the roads. And coming from South Africa, Cape Town, you travel as fast as possible. That's one of those things. You travel as fast as possible. You don't stop at pedestrian stops because you could get hijacked, blah, blah, blah. You just kept on going. And now suddenly I had to travel through a suburb for about 10 minutes, because we were living very far in the suburb, for about 10 minutes at 30 kilometers an hour. It was backbreaking. And I know in the first few months, I probably passed a lot of people on the wrong side of the road and just kept going, because I was still at 120 kilometers an hour plus. So for me, it took a while.
And a lot of people struggle with the quietness, if I can say it like that. You used to, your way of living, what you did over weekends is go to the mall, that kind of things.
You just get South African neighbors. They can make a massive loud amount of noise every weekend when they're having
but that's not
party.
what it is. It is just I think it's better for your mental health to just slow down.
Yeah, it is.
And it
And for everything, like your
yeah.
whole body. I mean,
Yeah. And talking about the road and driving,
Mm.
it is the law. So abide the law.
Yeah.
So many people, I hear it's a lot of times, especially where you work for a company that actually has a tracker on your vehicle, they get slapped with their fingers
They get
because
pinged.
they drive too fast. But that is the law. Stick to it. Why do you want to drive so fast? Just stick to it. Look around, see the beauty or whatever. Yeah, so the slow living can be a little bit of a hassle for some people, but just take it in and relax.
Yeah, and adapt to this. It's important to adapt
It
and
is
to
what it
embrace.
is.
And
Yeah, you're not going to change it.
no,
So
you're not
it
going
is
to
what it
change it.
is.
And if everybody else is driving at 30, you don't have to be the only guy.
Mm.
The only guy.
And I think the same goes for the workplace. Most South Africans are used to it's planning and it's I don't know, it's like all this happens so fast and so quick and it's all
Yeah.
And in New Zealand it's not like that. The planning goes slower and it happens slower, everything happens slower. And if you can't adjust to that, you're really going to struggle.
Can I put a question on?
Mm.
This Skulls is asking, how long do you think it takes to find your feet again? I'm gonna break to find your feet again up in two parts.
Mm.
Point one, financially, and point two, let's say, mentally.
Mm.
Mentally, I think to find your feet, for me, it was way faster than for her. Because I wanted to be here with my whole heart. I was fully on. I was NZ. That was that. And she was still half.
Mm.
And until she was also fully NZ, that was the time that it took her. So I think finding your feet mentally back in New Zealand until you are at that point that you don't call South Africa home the whole time.
Yeah.
And nothing bad with people saying that. That's
No.
just the way. But this is home now. Once you have that in your mind, that took me. I think of the day that I got on the plane in South Africa. That was that.
Yeah.
For her, it took about 6 months.
For me, I would say it took me around about a year just to totally be happy with where I am and knowing that this is the best place for me to be and this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
But it took longer to find my feet in the way, finding friends, kind of merging into the community. That took about 2 to 3 years. It takes a while. You have to be very patient.
And you have to be open. You have to be able to go. You can't say, "Oh, I missed this. I'm not going anywhere else."
I can honestly say that even though it took me a year just to be content with where I am, I never ever yearned for South Africa. I was never like, I don't want to be here, I want to be in South Africa or whatever. Never ever was it like that. It is just the change.
I'm thinking the average person takes about 2 years.
I would say so.
That is my thought.
So.
The average person takes about 2 years.
Yeah.
And another thing, the financial back on your feet.
That can take a while.
I would also say about 2 years. It took us about 2 years just to be in a position where we are financially a tiny bit better off than the day before us. So yeah, but it's up to you. You can take 10 years. I know there's some people who never get ahead, and I sometimes work with their finances and I see why. We as South Africans in South Africa has got a mental type of attitude towards debt. And the thing is, there in South Africa, you need debt to get more debt, and the people get more debt and more debt and more debt. And you can't do that in New Zealand because that puts you behind. Yeah. But that is just me.
Yeah. So just try not to do that.
Not to go. Yeah. So it's not the sermon this morning, so let's go for embrace the change.
Yeah. I made a little list now. I can't see.
I want to say the biggest change I had to embrace, and this was the way that the Kiwis work. And and I can put it out there, the way that the older South Africans, the ones that was here 20, 30 years, the way they work as well, because they've done the Kiwi way now.
I think they adapted.
Yep, they've adapted.
Accepted.
And for me, I really struggled the first year with that. I'm being quite open and honest. If anybody ever asked me again to send them a fax, I would have shouted from the rooftops.
No, that doesn't happen.
No, it did in the beginning. Okay. It did in the beginning. It was absolutely a nightmare. I was thinking, geez, sending a fax in the year 2018, 2019, it's just not on. So,
Vanita's saying the partner does suffer because they may not be working and have the opportunity to create new social circles and new support systems. And that is the big problem with the partner that's not working. I see that all the time. The women are so unhappy and they're yearning for their family and their support system because they don't get out. They don't make new friends. Hubby is at work, he's making new colleagues, meeting new colleagues, making new friends. And it's really hard for the women. They've got time on their hands. So the head is just like going, I didn't do the right thing.
It's a female thing.
Instead of doing that, remember how fortunate you are to have been able to immigrate. I saw someone this morning again on Facebook saying their visas was approved and they are on their way. And just the happiness. So just remember how happy you were when your visas was approved, and just get out, go for a walk. Go walk in the bush, whatever. It's safe. You can do that. You don't have to sit at home while the kids are in school. Get out. Even if you don't have any friends, just get out and breathe some fresh air so that you can just get your mental health up to.
Can I read this one? Lisma Lib is saying, it took a solid 2 weeks to feel settled. The pace of life was an adjustment which we now embrace. So the adjustment must have been difficult for them, but they've now embraced that and it's going better. Part of embracing the change was putting ourselves out there to meet new people, see things and go places. You aren't always in the mood, but you always can't sit in your house all the time because it's comfortable.
And what we did when we first got here, it doesn't cost you anything, a little bit of fuel to just get to a walking track or whatever. And it is so beautiful. Once you're in it and you're doing the track or you're just getting out, have a picnic, pack some wraps or whatever. It doesn't have to be expensive. Make some coffee and take your wraps and just go have it somewhere next to a stream or whatever. And you'll be surprised to find how that changes your inner being.
What is that sachets of coffee that we use?
It's everywhere. It's just like the flat whites and
it's a flat white sachet of coffee
in South Africa too. So take that and a bottle of
So if you arrive, I think the most expensive thing you must buy is probably a good hot water cylinder. Hot water bottle?
I hear of so many people
flask,
that have been here for months and they haven't even seen the blue
out of town
springs or whatever.
I haven't been out of town.
They just don't go about. And when you sit at home, that's when you're going to start sulking. And
so would you read that one of Karen? Unfortunately, can't put this on the screen.
Wanting you to 2 years to feel settled, and the best was going back to South Africa and coming back to New Zealand, realizing this is home. I must say, I think that is what made the switch for me as well. I said to you, I went back the first time when that shooting was in Christchurch, the mosque shooting.
That's right.
And when I was in South Africa at that time, visiting my daughter, and the news came through about that shooting. And it was like there was a little switch in my head that said, you need to be with your people. And my people at that stage in my head was, I need to be in New Zealand. And that is what made the change for me. It's just the community and what the what is the
government
what the government do for the community, not only in times like that, but especially in times like that. You feel like you are part of a community. I remember when we were during COVID, when they addressed us, they spoke about the team of 5 million. So you really feel like you are part of a team.
Anita just saying there's plenty of community activities to get out and meet new people. She also reckons it's not a female thing.
No, it's not.
Benita, you probably could be wrong this morning, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Then another change, which is a good one, is nature.
She's made notes on her phone
I
about
made
this.
notes on
Okay.
my phone.
Can I tell you something about nature?
Yes.
I spoke to a psychologist who I really trust the other day, and she said to me, if you have mental health problems,
Mm,
the best thing is not pills, it's not psychology, it's not sitting there in a little room or getting hit over the head with a hammer. It's getting out in nature and getting some exercise and fresh air.
Yep. That is true.
It is true.
I have found that when I really feel down, and even the times, I don't know if you can remember when I really felt very anxious, I said to him, can we just please go for a drive? And I would open the window and stick my head out the window so that the wind can blow.
And this was already in South Africa.
Yeah.
I was thinking, she's gonna go, you can go get hijacked. And
I just wanted to feel the air and feel the wind on my face. Yeah. It is really true. Just go for a walk, even if you don't feel like it. You will feel better when you're done.
Just get a bit of exercise.
No, that is really true. And New Zealand has got so much to offer nature-wise. It is absolutely beautiful. And when you get here, you see it. But then you tend to kind of get used to it and you don't see it anymore. And then when someone visits you and they see it again, then it's kind of getting back to you.
And then suddenly you realize through their eyes again, wow, we are so blessed because we get used to this. We get used to living in this green emerald paradise.
But we will make a point of it when we go for a drive to look around and just remind each other and how beautiful it is.
What some people don't know about us is, or me more than normal, I tend to stick to roads traveled less often. So I go places where I've never been before, where the normal person normally don't get into, and I see places that's absolutely wow. And every time my mouth is just hanging open, I was just thinking, we are so blessed to live in this country where we can do this.
Yeah, I was driving to Hamilton Gardens the other day when my mom visited, and the road was closed, the highway. So I needed to take some kind of detour.
Okay.
And at first I was like, oh my word, where are we? Because they were gravel roads some places, and it was
the woman thing, Vanita.
But it was so beautiful. We drove so slow just to take in everything. It was absolutely beautiful. So just embrace what is given to you.
That is.
You won't get nature like New Zealand anywhere else. I can promise you.
And I want to say, you won't get that for free.
No.
Yep. You won't get it for free. Now, I know people say South Africa is a beautiful country. I'm not disagreeing with that, but there's so much different things in New Zealand that you can see, and absolutely for free, and without being fearful of being hijacked or robbed or any of these things that could happen to you anywhere else.
Yeah. And even if it's raining, or when it's raining, we've had a lot of rain the last few weeks, you can't do anything about it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy the sound of the rain. Enjoy just the beauty of nature when it's raining. It's so green and it's so lush.
Probably shouldn't go for a walk when it's raining.
You can do that.
The flu is bad this year.
Yes, we have a terrible flu.
I gotta say, let's talk about embracing that. The Kiwis are embracing the rain.
Yeah, they're embracing nature.
Goodness me. It can be raining. These guys, I've just seen a thing that says on Saturday morning we're going to have a working bee here at our, that's when they do certain things. They want to plant a lot of trees.
Oh, okay.
But as far as I've looked, the weather is so crap. Saturday we can't even go fish.
Okay.
But let's see what happens on Saturday. So.
But just look at that email. This is now in the estate that we are living, and they're having a working bee planting an orchid. And when it gets established, there will be fruit for all to share.
Yeah.
That is what the community in New Zealand is all about.
Can I say this about the guys that wrote the email? If I was their age, I wouldn't have planted the orchard.
No.
Because
you probably wouldn't have planted anything.
That's my point. These guys are just keep on going.
It is amazing. And some of them have got fruit trees that we don't have. So when it's guava time, they don't eat guavas. The Kiwis don't like it. When we wake up in the morning, you open your front door and there's a box of guavas.
Yep.
When you open your front door, the guy that cuts the grass brings a box of apples. It is, I don't know, some people really struggle with the Kiwis. They are different.
Yeah, they are different,
But
and there's
they
some of them that
are
are
nice.
difficult as well.
Yeah.
Let's be quite frank. Some of them are just
Yeah.
difficult because you're not a Kiwi.
Yeah.
That's the big
Yeah.
thing. So
we are really very
but you got to
fortunate.
live with them as
You have
well
to
on this island.
embrace that as well because you are here. It's
I
not
just
like they
smile
wanna
and
go away.
wave, smile and wave. Benita just saying life goes on, rain or sunshine. So
Yeah.
life goes on.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the rain is that sometimes I do feel we need it. A lot of people would think, geez, Jan, you're not crazy. We do
need
we
it.
become dry. That's the one thing. This island ain't set up to last for longer. I would say 4 or 5 days without rain.
I'm really hot now.
Are you very hot now?
Mm.
Okay, we'll finish off now.
Can you please turn off the aircon?
That's the aircon the problem. Okay. It's not the fact that you're over a certain age.
No, it's not
Okay,
that at
just
all.
checking. You broke up my train of thought.
Yeah. I think let's talk a little bit more about the community, subject of community in New Zealand. There are a lot of communities. There is a huge South African community. There's a huge British community. There's a Polish community I learned the other day. That's actually as big as the South African community. Would you believe it? And then yes, you have to get involved within your own community, and that is what we really strive to do, is just get involved with our own people. But you also have to embrace the New Zealand community and get involved in whatever the whole team of 5 million has got to offer, and where you can get involved. And you will be surprised how easily they will accept you into the group and make you part of it. And that is what makes you feel welcome.
I think a lot of South Africans has also started to become more involved in just in the South African community. I see when somebody needs some help or something, it's always a lot of people putting their hand up and saying, yeah, let's help them. I've got a question from Donovan van Noordbeek saying, how does one adapt when you're visually impaired and no work wants to give you a chance? I do everything as a normal able person does except drive and see detail.
Okay.
I don't know. Donovan, I'm
So are you not working at the moment?
No, it looks like he's not working.
Not working at the moment.
So basically Donovan needs a chance, guys. If you know if anybody is willing to work with Donovan.
Maybe give us an idea of what it is that you like to do, what kind of work it is.
Or send me your CV and I'll distribute it to a few places. I've got no I won't do any promises, but I'll send it off to
you know,
people.
and it's things like this. If you don't put it out there, no one's gonna know that you're struggling. Maybe someone knows of a place that will be able to take you on. And if you don't say it, how's anyone going to know about it? So please share with us what it is that you
and
like
you
to
know,
do.
people with impairments, I want to go back to that now. And this is a bit of a bee's nest, but people with impairments in this country gets helped a lot. All right, let me do it this way around. Gets helped a lot. I see people with impairments doing a few things that other people that they normally wouldn't have been able to do in South Africa.
Yeah, but you're not talking about just the
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about overall disabilities. Yeah. People with an impairment can sometimes be a disability as well.
It is kind of a disability because it's obviously a hindrance. Yeah.
And then I mean there is places that embrace these guys with disabilities and really go forward with that. So all right.
Let's see.
We've got 5 minutes left. So,
only 5. Yeah. Oh, the entrepreneurship in New Zealand.
Tell me about that.
But I think it's also a South African. It's not only a South African thing. The people from India is the same. The people from Asia apparently is also the same. If you can't do if you don't come right within the working community, whatever, you just start your own thing.
Yeah.
And if you walk in Tauranga down Cameron Road, you'll be surprised to see the amount of little shops that, especially the Indian community, they've got lovely shops.
Yeah. It looks like the Indian community is turning out to be the shopkeepers and the orchard people and the fuel station owners and so forth. Yeah. Do you know how many petrol stations belongs to Indians?
Oh, okay. I didn't get what you were saying.
Yeah. And many of the kiwi orchards these days belongs to the Indian community. Yeah. It's quite interesting.
And I mean, if you he's got this, so like a South African, what do you call that, business?
Oh, we got South African
morning
business.
Yeah. If you see the people that come in there every week or every month.
There's new faces and people that know the business of what I never knew it was South African.
That's trying to do something for themselves. And New Zealand gives you the opportunity to do that. I have been doing things in New Zealand that I would never ever
have done in South Africa.
Even have thought of doing in South Africa, because in New Zealand you're not judged for whatever you do. So even if you have got a small little stall with I don't know what, no one's going to look at you funny. You can do whatever you want to do, and you will feel like you belong.
Yeah, I find that rather interesting. I also find that we as South Africans don't normally just go to each other. If you take the Jewish community, if you take the Indian community, the Chinese community, they basically just buy from each other the whole time.
Yeah,
they support each other.
Yeah,
but the South Africans, we
try to support each other, but it's like, I don't want to be nasty towards the South Africans, but it's like when you're from South Africa and you've established a business, it's like some of them don't want to give, and some of them, I do a lot of events for South African women. It's all about my South African community, and sometimes when I reach out to businesses, places that is, they supply stuff. They have stuff that they can actually give, and when I ask for just a hamper or maybe just a voucher, whatever, for the South African ladies, they don't even get back to me.
Yeah, they don't even answer the email. Well, let's not tell them who that is. So,
no. So yeah.
I always find that interesting.
Yeah, just remember, whatever you give will come back to you. I'm not, it's not like I'm asking for anything this morning, but it's just a nice way to support your South African community.
And the thing is, your name, your business name gets known.
It's marketing, free marketing for you. It's
especially the way that you guys do it. I mean, it's absolutely priceless.
Yeah, but
that's why I support them like crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing. So
I always think that, and I think that's what happens in the Indian community. Maybe if someone in that community is struggling, the whole community gets together and help that guy.
Yeah.
Support him, give him some advice. And with the South Africans, and I think it's just the way that we grew up, you kind of keep to yourself. You don't want to share what you've learned so that other people can learn from it. And that's actually not a very good, it's not a good character trait.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be for each other and support each other. So so at the end of the day, it was all about kind of just embrace where you are and what is going on around you, and try to relax a little bit. Try not to take everything so seriously. It is what it is. And
all right. We've run out of time because we were late this morning. So say goodbye to people.
Goodbye, people.
Guys, girls, thanks. See you next time, same place, same time. Bye-bye.